Ever wondered how 7 global icons, under the strictest industry scrutiny, managed to shatter the perfect idol mold? Forget the scripted highlights. We're dissecting the moments BTS risked their careers by breaking the industry's most sacred taboos right in front of your eyes. Ready to see the real Bangtan? Number 7. The unfiltered live stream. Jungkook. In the highly regulated world of K-pop, the Idol Management 101 handbook dictates a strict separation between public persona and private habits. Yet Jungkook has spent the last few years systematically dismantling these boundaries during his legendary late-night Weverse broadcasts. While most idols operate under the watchful eyes of staff during scheduled content, Jungkook's solo live streams, often lasting several hours and occurring in the dead of night, became a masterclass in defying industry norms regarding perfect behavior. One of the most significant moments of rebellion against the idol standard occurred when Jungkook decided to fall asleep in front of millions of viewers. In an industry where every second of screen time is usually meticulously curated for maximum visual appeal, choosing to let the camera roll while drifting into unconsciousness was a radical act of vulnerability. He essentially bypassed the always-on performance requirement, trusting ARMY enough to see him at his most inactive and human state. But it wasn't just about sleep. Jungkook's live streams became a space where he openly engaged with adult themes that are typically sanitized by management. He has frequently enjoyed alcoholic beverages on camera, rejecting the eternal boy image that many labels force upon their stars well into their 30s. By doing so, he challenged the societal taboo in South Korea that often judges public figures for showing imperfect or casual lifestyle choices. Furthermore, Jungkook used these sessions to address the invasive behavior of say-seeing fans directly, breaking the silence that idols are often encouraged to maintain to avoid controversy. Instead of a polite corporate statement, he spoke with raw honesty about the fear and frustration caused by people following him to the gym or sending food to his house. This level of direct confrontation is nearly unheard of because it risks alienating a segment of the fan base. But Jungkook prioritized his personal boundaries over the industry's customer is always right philosophy. He even went as far as deleting his Instagram account, which boasted over 50 million followers, a digital asset worth millions in marketing value, simply because he didn't use it and didn't feel like it. This total disregard for social media metrics and the influencer expectations of a modern pop star is perhaps his most quiet yet powerful act of defiance. He proved that his connection with the audience doesn't rely on polished posts or corporate oversight, but on a raw, unfiltered presence that often leaves big hit music's legal and PR teams scrambling to keep up. He didn't just break a rule. He redefined the relationship between an icon and their fans by refusing to be a product. But if you think a sleeping magne is the peak of their rebellion, you haven't seen how the leader of the group decided to handle a very different kind of fire. Number 6. The implicit critique of the industry, RM. In a culture where idols are expected to remain politically neutral and perpetually grateful to the system that created them, Kim Namjoon has consistently used his platform to critique the very industry he sits atop. The most striking example of this defiance occurred during his 2022 appearance on the El País interview and subsequent V-Live sessions, where he tackled the grueling nature of the K-pop training system, a topic usually buried under layers of PR. RM didn't just acknowledge the pressure. He confronted the Western gaze that labels the K-pop system as inhumane, defending the Korean work ethic, while simultaneously admitting that the relentless pace of the industry leaves no room for an artist to mature or find their own voice. This is a massive taboo in the entertainment world. An active, top-tier star admitting that the machine they represent might be fundamentally flawed. He broke the silent contract of the perfect soldier by stating that after a decade, he no longer knew who he was because the system demanded constant output over personal growth. Furthermore, his Indigo album and its promotional cycle served as a direct rebellion against the trend-driven nature of the music charts. While the industry demanded high-energy, TikTok-friendly hits, RM released a deeply introspective, folk-leaning record that focused on his internal struggle with fame, effectively telling the world that his identity as a human being is more important than his identity as a commercial asset. He even addressed the idol label directly, refusing to be confined by the restrictive behavioral standards it implies, often seen through his public visits to art galleries and his Namjuning lifestyle, which prioritizes quiet intellectualism over the loud, flashy lifestyle expected of a global superstar. By being so candid about his burnout and the existential crisis caused by the K-pop conveyor belt, he risked the ire of stakeholders who rely on the image of a frictionless, happy industry. He chose to be an intellectual leader rather than a manageable puppet, effectively forcing the industry to reckon with the mental health of its artists on a global stage. This wasn't a PR stunt. It was a desperate plea for authenticity in a world built on artifice. But while the leader fought with his words and philosophy, another member chose to break the rules by literally changing the physical image of what a K-pop idol is allowed to look like. Number 5. The visual transformation, Taehyung. In an industry where an artist's physical appearance is often treated as corporate property, Kim Taehyung, widely known as V, shattered the taboo of the static idol by asserting total control over his aesthetic identity, even when it clashed with the brand's established safety. For years, K-pop idols were expected to maintain a clean-cut, youthful, and almost doll-like appearance to satisfy a broad range of commercial endorsements. However, Taehyung began to systematically push against these visual constraints, most notably through his embrace of a more rugged and individualistic style that included growing out his hair to lengths that were frequently criticized by traditional stylists and even some sections of the public. He didn't stop at hair. He began to challenge the industry's obsession with skin perfection and flower boy aesthetics by openly showing his natural skin texture and occasional stubble during live broadcasts, a move that is considered a major breach of the unwritten perpetual grooming rule for idols. This was a direct strike against the hyper-idealized standards that the industry profits from. Perhaps his most significant act of defiance was his deliberate choice of fashion and accessories that blurred gender lines long before it was a global trend, often wearing pieces that were considered too risky for a member of a group representing South Korea on the world stage. He took it a step further during the layover era, where he stripped away the heavy theatrical makeup and grandiose costumes characteristic of BTS's stadium tours in favor of a raw, lo-fi aesthetic. This wasn't just a style choice. It was a refusal to participate in the visual arms race of K-pop, where bigger and flashier is usually seen as better. By appearing in his solo music videos with minimal styling and in mundane settings, he broke the illusion that an idol must always be extraordinary to be valuable. He even challenged the taboo of public association by being photographed in candid, everyday settings without the usual shield of security or masks, reclaiming the right to exist in public spaces as a person rather than a protected product. This visual rebellion signaled to the industry that his face and body belonged to him, not to a styling department or a marketing plan. He proved that his star power wasn't tied to a specific look, but to his inherent charisma, effectively forcing fans and the industry alike to accept his aging and his evolution as a man. While Taehyung redefined the idol's image, the next member decided to break the rules by taking a literal stand against the silence surrounding the most private part of an idol's life. Number 4. The psychological transparency, Suga. In the rigid hierarchy of South Korean society, mental health has long been a subject shrouded in heavy silence and social stigma, especially for idols who are marketed as symbols of endless energy and joy. Min Young-hee, under his solo moniker Auguste, committed what was once considered a career-ending offense. He spoke the unvarnished truth about his struggle with depression, OCD, and social anxiety. While the industry standard was to maintain a facade of fighting through minor stress, Suga's 2016 mixtape and subsequent lyrics in tracks like The Last detailed his visits to the psychiatrist and the crushing pressure of his trainee days. This was a direct violation of the idol fan contract that demands a perpetual fantasy of happiness. He didn't just mention being sad. He described the physical and mental toll of fame in a way that stripped away the glamour of the idol life, exposing the dark side of the dream. By doing this in front of a global audience, he bypassed the label's traditional gatekeeping of negative information. Furthermore, he broke the taboo of the passive performer by becoming an outspoken advocate for the rights of the youth and social justice, often weaving biting social commentary into his music that challenged the conservative status quo of his home country. He refused to be the polite celebrity who stays out of the fray, instead choosing to use his platform to validate the pain of millions. His defiance reached a peak during his solo tour, where he showcased a raw, aggressive performance style that leaned into his scars, both literal and metaphorical, rather than hiding them behind a polished K-pop sheen. He proved that an idol's greatest strength isn't perfection, but the courage to be broken. This transparency didn't just break a rule. It changed the cultural conversation in Korea, making him a pioneer for mental health awareness in a space that once forbade it. But while Suga was breaking the silence of the mind, another member was busy breaking the physical barriers of what an idol is allowed to do on stage. Number 3, the radical stage authenticity, Jimin. In the world of high-stakes K-pop choreography, the ultimate taboo is breaking the perfect machine illusion. The idea that an idol must never show fatigue, pain, or human error. Park Jimin, however, shattered this by bringing a level of raw, almost dangerous physical honesty to the stage that often bypassed the safety protocols of a global production. During the Burn the Stage documentary and subsequent tour footage, the world saw the reality the industry usually hides. Jimin collapsing backstage, gasping for air, and struggling with severe muscle pain that would sideline any ordinary performer. Instead of editing these moments out to preserve the superhuman image, Jimin allowed the cameras to capture the grueling physical toll of his craft. This transparency broke the unspoken rule that fans should only see the finished, effortless product. Furthermore, Jimin has consistently pushed the boundaries of gender expression on stage, a sensitive topic in conservative performance circles. By integrating contemporary dance, a style often viewed as too feminine for a male pop star, with the aggressive hip-hop roots of the group, he defied the rigid masculine tropes expected of male idols. He didn't just dance. He used his body to tell stories of pain and fluid identity, often wearing corsets or delicate accessories that challenge the traditional warrior image of K-pop boy groups. Even more daring was his decision to speak openly about his perfectionism as a burden rather than a virtue. In an industry that praises obsessive practice, Jimin admitted that his drive once led him to extreme diets and a lack of self-love, effectively warning fans and future idols about the dangers of the very system that made him famous. By showing his scars, both the physical ones from grueling rehearsals and the emotional ones from the pressure to be perfect, he humanized the idol experience in a way that felt like a betrayal of the industry's polished facade. He chose to be an athlete of the soul rather than a plastic icon, proving that true perfection is found in the grit of the struggle. But while Jimin was breaking physical barriers, the next member chose to break the most fundamental rule of all, the rule of silence regarding the internal politics of the group itself. Number 2, the disruption of eternal unity, Jin. The most sacred taboo for a global K-pop group is acknowledging the possibility of an end. Yet Kim Seokjin chose the biggest stage possible, the 2018 Net Asian Music Awards, to drop a truth bomb that nearly stopped the industry's heart. While accepting the Artist of the Year award, a moment usually reserved for scripted gratitude and tears of joy, Jin went off script to reveal that the group had seriously considered disbanding earlier that year. In the world of K-pop, admitting to internal instability while at the height of your power is considered a catastrophic brand risk. It shatters the invincible aura that labels spend millions to maintain. Jin's decision to air the group's mental and emotional exhaustion wasn't just a breach of contract. It was a radical act of honesty toward ARMY, refusing to pretend that their success was easy or guaranteed. He prioritized emotional transparency over corporate image, forcing the world to see the human cost of the BTS phenomenon. Beyond this, Jin has consistently broken the mysterious idol rule through his Eat Jeans series and chaotic variety appearances, where he frequently scolds staff on camera and jokes about the company's restrictive rules. He effectively dismantled the hierarchy of idol versus management, showing fans that he is an adult man with his own agency, not a quiet asset to be handled. By being the first to enlist in the mandatory military service, he also broke the cycle of public and political debate surrounding the group's exemption, taking the lead to resolve a national controversy with a single, decisive action. He didn't wait for a consensus. He made the choice, proving that the oldest member's responsibility was to protect the group's integrity, even if it meant stepping away from the limelight at their peak. He turned a forbidden topic of struggle into a moment of collective healing. But if Jin broke the silence on the group's survival, the final member broke the one rule that determines an idol's very right to exist in the public eye. Number 1. The defiance of creative control, J-Hope. In the traditional K-pop power structure, the label acts as the architect of an idol's sound and public narrative, making any attempt at total creative independence a high-stakes taboo. Jung Hoseok, however, staged a systematic rebellion against the sanitized rapper image by releasing Jack in the Box, a project that visually and sonically burned the bright, sunshine persona the industry had spent a decade cultivating. By stepping onto the Lollapalooza stage as the first South Korean artist to headline a major U.S. festival, J-Hope broke the ultimate unwritten rule. He proved that an idol could survive and thrive without the safety net of their group or the traditional pop polish. This move was a direct challenge to the industry's strength in numbers philosophy. He didn't just perform. He showcased a darker, grittier, and more socially critical side of his artistry that included themes of greed and human nature, topics often discouraged for wholesome idols. Furthermore, J-Hope has been a silent pioneer in breaking the extravagance taboo by using his immense wealth for anonymous, high-impact philanthropy long before his label made public statements about it, reclaiming his right to be a private citizen with a moral compass rather than a corporate marketing tool. By choosing a solo path that prioritized artistic grit over chart-topping bubblegum appeal, he signaled to the industry that the idol label is a starting point, not a cage. He took the risk of alienating fans who only wanted the happy Hobie, betting instead on the power of raw, unfiltered growth. His success didn't just prove his individual talent. It effectively killed the myth that a K-pop star is nothing without the machine. J-Hope didn't just break a rule. He built a brand new world where the artist, not the industry, holds the keys. This is the new era of Bangtan, where the only thing truly forbidden is staying the same.